I've edited hundreds of videos, generated over 500 million views, and worked with some of the top YouTubers. And it's all because of this one thing. I understand how to edit a video that keeps the viewer glued to their screen. So in this video, I'm giving you the exact framework to get people addicted to your edits. And by the end, you will know how to edit videos that hook instantly, hold the attention of people, and skyrocket retention. Before you even touch the first clip, you need to know who you're editing for. And it might sound simple, but it goes way deeper than you might think. Because knowing who you're editing for will dictate so much about the way you're editing. Like for example, the music you use, how fast the cuts are, and the graphics you use. But most editors just skip over this and go straight into cutting, like they always do. But this is a huge mistake, because that's not what editing is about, just fancy effects and just smacking on it like it's normal. No, it's actually about understanding psychology. Because if you don't know who's actually watching, how can you even make the video optimized for them? So before you even drag in one clip into Premiere Pro or any other editing software that you use, ask yourself these things. Who does this viewer already watch? What memes, pacing and emotional triggers do they respond to? Are they Gen Z watching Kai Cenat, or 28-year-old traders who watch Imangatsi? Because if you can speak their language when you're editing, they will feel that the video is made for them and they will keep watching all the way till the end. That's why there's big communities around channels, because they just target one specific person with certain values, and you will see that we're not all so different from each other. And we have a lot of things in common. So once you know what you're editing for, it's very important to reassure them that they click the right video. Which leads me to step 1. Confirm the click immediately. Nowadays, people's attention span is pretty cooked, because they just watch TikTok all day. Which means we need to give them the payoff immediately. And that's by proving to them that this video is exactly what they're looking for. And most of the time you only have like 10 seconds to do this. Say you click the video titled "How to Edit Like a Pro" and keep 90% of the retention. You're expecting tips and secrets how to edit like a pro, right? But instead, imagine that the first 10 seconds starts like this. Hey guys, what's up? Before we start, let me tell you about my weekend. Now, high chances are you just clicked off the video. Not because the rest of the video is bad, but because the first bit of the video didn't match the title and thumbnail. And this is exactly why creators like MrBeast, who get tens of millions of views every video, start the video off by confirming the click, aka confirming the title and thumbnail.
I built this maximum security prison, and if this cop and this criminal survive 100 days together, I will give them $500,000.
What I do when I edit an intro is the following. I usually find the right lines the creator is saying. This is most of the time thought of and scripted, so that's the easy part. Then remove any extra clutter that can confuse the viewer. Like jokes in the first couple of seconds are usually just distractions, and we need to remove them. Just a special tip in between. Really make sure the viewer understands it. If not, then add an extra VO or visual. So now the viewer knows that they're in the right place. But let me tell you one thing, that's not enough. Because you just bought yourself a little bit more attention. Because now it's your job to hold their hand and make sure that the story is that engaging that they want to stay all the way till the end. And you do that by finding the structure of the story. And it might sound really difficult, but let me just explain. Because this part is probably the most important of editing. Because let me tell you, people are not clicking because they know there's fancy graphics in it. They want to follow a story. And it's your job to make it as easy as possible. So try to make every scene build towards something, progression. Because if you don't do that, the viewer will disconnect from it and is just confused about what the hell is happening on the screen. And you know what the result of that is? They'll just click off. Because simply, they just don't care anymore. They lost their attention, and reward of just following the whole story is gone. They're too lazy to go back into the video, see what actually happened and watch it again. They think it's a waste of time. Make it as easy as possible to follow, like for the viewer. And this is like one of the big things editors just miss. Like retention comes from resolution. Because if the viewer cannot feel problems coming up and then being resolved and then new challenges being added, your video just feels flat, no matter how well the cut is. So when I'm editing videos, I always follow this structure. Number 1, introduce a problem. Then you solve the problem number 1. Then a new problem appears, and then you solve the second problem. And I pretty much do this till the end goal. So let's watch a Matthew Beam video that knows how to optimize his videos very well. And I can explain where you can see the problems and how they're getting solved. Okay, the video starts off with the intro. Let's go.
Today I'm building a soccer field inside of iShowSpeed's house. iShowSpeed is the most popular streamer on the planet, and he loves soccer but doesn't have a place to play.
So the intro just is an explainer, but you might not see it right away, but the problem is already being introduced. The problem is that they have to build a soccer field in his house, or like just turn his streaming setup into a soccer field, which is a big challenge on its own already. And it's for Speed, one of the biggest people ever. Like, how can you do it without him knowing.
Speed, if I'm gonna be able to surprise you with your new room, first I need you out of here.
Look, I'm going on an Australia tour. By the time I come back, the room better be ready.
Okay.
And it better be good. Don't my room, bro. I'll be back.
That part basically adds extra tension. Speed gives like, okay, if it's not done in time, then you're just in a big problem, which adds another problem. This, like, you can add problems on top of each other, just make sure that you solve them all the way at the end. The way how you solve this problem is just by getting it done on time, which probably is the case, but people don't know. It adds tension at the back of the mind, like, okay, and we keep repeating that throughout the video, that Speed will, like, maybe calls up Matthew, maybe comes back home earlier, like in this video he comes home earlier. And it's very important to know that, oh, he can always come back and then he's too late, which creates tension and adds like extra attention to the viewer. Let's get into the actual first problem that he will solve right away. And that's right after this, like the bit with Speed.
It's actually massive, but it needs a lot of work. And his entire gaming setup is broken. But that's why he called us. We're gonna be fixing everything inside of this room.
So he introduces, okay, it's messy, it's broken, like it's just a big problem. Like he wants to build a room and the room is still filled with things. So that's the problem. Okay, what are we gonna do about it?
Things first, I think we're gonna have to remove Speed's bed so we can actually play soccer in here.
So you see them drag out the bed, which kind of, we don't have to show them exactly take out every single piece out of the room. It gets the idea of like, okay, we cleaned the room, or like we made the room empty enough so we can actually build something, which leads to the first problem we had, which was building up the room towards something epic. Of course, this is a lot of problems going through each other. You might think it's way too hard to understand for a viewer, but that's where basically my check marks come in. Like I always add these little check marks whenever something is done with the name of it, and that helps with retention a lot. Let me show you.
We're lifting our first wall in place.
You see, I added the check mark, and it starts off by, okay, introducing a thing. Okay, we need to build a wall. That's also a problem. Okay, it instantly gets solved by building it and putting it against the wall. Check mark, first wall done. In Matthew's video, he's a master at just adding little problems all at once and just keep fixing them. It adds a little bit of dopamine every time in your head that keeps retention. So let's see what he does next.
We're gonna go inside of the hallway and cover it up at the end so it looks like a dead end.
So yeah, he gets an extra idea how to make the room even cooler, and that makes another problem. How do we cover it up? I showed a little graphic to make the viewers easier to understand, okay, this is what we're gonna cover it up with, because it can be anything. But now the next problem is, how do we get it upstairs? We make it very tense.
It's so heavy. I've seen Speed get mad before, and I definitely don't want to get him mad at me.
You gotta be trolling! You have one.
So we see it coming up screen like right after this, and then like basically seeing him mad, that he's like super upset. We don't want that. It adds extra attention to the part where like if Matthew's not done on time, the Speed is gonna get very upset.
Hinges are installed.
Now that we have the hinges installed, it's time to see this baby work. Ready? Yo!
Nice.
Perfect. And then like we instantly see it being solved, like the problem with like covering up the secret room. So that's how I basically do it, and you can see it in all kinds of videos. But what I like to do if the footage doesn't really show any problems and no solving the problems, is that I ask for a VO. VOs are sort of a cheap way out, and most people that are retention specialists don't really like them as much. It's like the last resort, but really ask for voiceovers if you think it's needed, if there's more clarity to be given, if it needs to be highlighted more. Someone that does this really well is Eric. Eric introduces problems with a VO every single time. You can see it in his videos, just go watch it. Every new thing that is being sort of introduced into his video is added with a VO.
I asked 100 of the biggest celebrities in the world to see if I could, and after months of spamming everyone on the Forbes 500.
And the reason he does this is because it creates progression. Every time there's a new spark in the video and a new sort of mini mission. It feels like you're gaming, where like you get a new mission every time you complete a little one. Like driving towards a new point in GTA, and then, oh, now you have to drive to this new point, or deliver something there, or get inside of a building. Those little steps create interest peaks in your, like, basically your mind. Like it gives that little bit of dopamine, which that's something that we want to give to the viewer as well. And this is one of the biggest things that I teach in my mentorship program called the green light. This is where I teach editors how to improve their editing, get better at sales, and build their personal brand. And one of the best examples I can give is Jack going from 1K all the way to 9K a month. Crazy things happen. And he's for sure very talented. And maybe you are feeling the same thing, but you just don't know what you need to do to scale even further. So if you need help with that, check the top link in the description and fill in the form. But you can have the best structure in the world, but if the pacing sucks, it just feels flat. And that's where we come to step number 3, because the best editors know how to keep the viewer entertained and very comfortable. And this is how you get those really flat retention charts. And the way how you do this is to make it very familiar to the viewer and make the pacing always the same. And I promise you, this affects your video more than you even know. Because have you ever clicked on a video that you might thought was entertaining, but then you just start watching the video and something just felt off? And like you couldn't even explain why, your brain just hovered off and you just hovered over the pause button, and before you even knew, you just clicked off and went to a new video. Now that feeling wasn't even the topic or the creator's fault. It was the pacing. Because the reason people are leaving is maybe because you're not efficient enough with like using the right footage or using the right takes. But how do you then get the pacing that people love and are familiar with? Like you can, for example, use memes, sound effects, or graphics that your audience is really used to. Think about like a dramatic boom. It might sound very cringe, but even Mr. Beast uses it because his audience loves it.
Dude, he's got the real prison toilet.
Wow.
And with someone like Matthew Beam, his cameraman is involved in the video and gets his own graphic pop-up whenever he talks. That's very familiar stuff. The same way how Stoke twins, for example, have characters. Like they're all their own characters, they always do the same things in the video. These things need to be kept in and really value these as an important factor to the video. And whenever you're doing a trial for a creator, really spot those things and make sure that you put in the same effort as they do to bring these characters alive. And you might think it's cringe, but the audience thinks way different about it. And use pacing to add extra feeling to moments. Think about an emotional moment being slow and very chill out. Also the same for a serious moment. But for a funny moment, we can have fast cuts that will add extra hype and extra emotion, extra sadness to a certain scene. And another very important thing is keep the visual style consistent and reuse successful pacing from niche examples. And the way you can do this very effectively is by watching the video, look at the timestamps, see how long they take to do a certain thing, and then use it on your own video. Let's say you're building a gaming room. It's a very popular topic in certain niches, and you have to clean the room first because it's dirty. If Stoke Twins, let's say, was the biggest channel in that niche, takes 10 seconds for that, then make that bit 10 seconds. And then, okay, we're building the first thing in the room. That takes a minute. Then make it a minute. Always just make it sure that you stay with the same pacing. People are used to it. Don't invent the new wheel, because those people are getting 100 million views every month and you're still stuck at basically nothing. And you're maybe not a creator, but your creator will very much love you if you actually put attention to that. Now, once the pacing is perfect, the video is not over yet. The another thing that you need to do is step number 4, using music to control emotion. Music is so important for a video, it basically controls the tone of the video. And music gives emotion to people, which actually leads to them caring about the video. For example, you're watching some horror movie and all they play is just random hip-hop music or funny music. It won't feel scary, it's just random. It's the same thing as they did on TikTok, is where like they have the yo-ho type music, and then it looks very scary, like to being on a boat on like the North Sea thing, the North Sea meme, like for the people know. But then if you put some funny music under it, it doesn't even look scary anymore. And that's what music brings. It brings emotion. Let's say you're watching an amazing video that's super well edited, the pacing is right, the graphics are insane, but then there's no music. It's just weird. That video will probably be very boring, because next to setting the tone, music also brings momentum and pacing to the video and signifies key moments. So yeah, without that, your video just basically feels flat. But it's easily fixable by following this system. So it's very important to use a new track on every new story beat. Think of like going from day 5 to day 6 in a challenge. Another one is an emotional tone shift. So think of someone going from happy to hearing that someone's cat died and then he's sad. Music should change. There's maybe something very important happening. Maybe there's something being said in a video that everyone needs to hear, otherwise it's confusing. You can either choose to remove the music fully at that moment, which leads to them thinking, whoa, this is very important because the music is gone, I need to be more interested. Or even build towards the moment and have like a release song. You need to really emphasize on these things, and how you can do this is just by music. Another thing is just the obvious one is high stakes, and that's where a lot of editors already know to add like really high tense music. So now your video looks good, pacing is locked in, your music sounds amazing. Now what? But there's one last mistake that kills your attention right at the finish line. Did you ever look at a retention graph and see all the way at the end that it just crashes down? That's because the viewer already got the payoff and you just took way too long to end the video. Now, too many creators, for sure the beginner ones, don't realize that the viewer only clicks for the payoff. So once they get the payoff, they're just done watching. So here's what to do. Try to end on a high note. And whenever the goal is reached, just end the video as soon as possible. The curiosity drops right away when they know who is the winner or what they win at the end, what the end goal is. And then the video just feels over for the viewer. And by the way, if you're an editor and want help with learning, scaling and landing your dream clients, I offer one-to-one coaching for people just like you. Like I said, I've helped people like Jack go from 1K all the way to 9K a month. And a mom landed a client for 1K per video almost, and he was just working for $150 a video before. And all of that within just 2 weeks of working together. So if you're interested, click the link in the top of the description and learn more. And now you know exactly how to edit a video that keeps the viewers hooked all the way till the end. Thanks for watching.